Hi, and welcome to the Road to Legalization. I'm Mike Shue, middays here at WAAF, and today I'm going to have a few guests, my first being Cara Crabb-Burnham, who is the president of MASSCANN. Is that
Yes, sir.
And this is the 25th anniversary of the Freedom Rally coming
Silver.
up this weekend. Is it silver?
It's
So I
silver.
should bring something silver?
We will accept gifts in silver because we can pawn them and make money for
Oh, there you go.
legalization.
Excellent. Well, that's something I wanted to bring up. Not only have you guys had to raise money to throw put on the Freedom Rally, but over the years, if you look up, I tell people to look up the history of the Freedom Rally and all the obstacles that were thrown in front of it. I mean, obviously before you were involved.
Oh, yeah.
It started out in Berkshire County in North Adams, but then when it was moved into Boston, it seems like they did everything they legally could do to stop it from happening.
Absolutely.
But thanks to the lawyers you guys have had over the years, it has been. And there was one judge, and I forget his name, but he called it a tortured history.
That's
The
good.
Freedom Rally has a tortured history of legal permit problems. And as we've gone on here and medicinal marijuana has become legal in this state and the attitudes are changing, has it become any easier?
This year was the easiest year, I think, since I've been a director. We got our full 2 days. We got extended time on Saturday. We haven't had any legal notices from the government as of yet. Last year, we had our final legal notice by now. Last year, we were in court on Friday evening before the rally started on Saturday. And there was a bunch of press about the rally not happening, and it was awful.
But that's a common thing with the rally over the years, is at the very last either day or even minute.
Or having to pay off police.
Right. They would change something about the police detail or something about a union rule or a zoning thing. It's been a myriad of things over the years. But do you find it has it become any easier as we are on the road to legalization here?
I think it has. I mean, last year was the worst year for me, but then there were a couple years that were worse than that. I mean, and then there's hurricanes. That's probably the scariest part of hosting the Freedom Rally is it's right at the beginning of hurricane season.
Right. There's not much you can do about that.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And you put
no matter what the lawyers say.
Yeah.
Right.
You can put, $20,000, $30,000 into the rally and lose all of it. And MASSCANN has gone severely into the red a couple times because of that. So
do you find over the years that as the attitudes change towards legalization, and maybe you can't really tell since it hasn't been that long, since people can now see the money that they can make, like for example in Colorado or Washington State, where it's fully legal, do you see the attitudes changing there as maybe people would want to support you more because they see some kind of chance at getting into this business?
Well, I'll say that we have more vendor sponsors this year than we've ever had. Great sponsors. People really want to take advantage of the show and of the rally itself to promote, and be part of the community. From the political side, not a whole lot of encouragement outside of, sort of what they have to do.
So when you talk about vendors, when someone goes to the Freedom Rally, what do they expect to see there as far as vendors go? Now, we're not just talking about delicious food, but there's like tons of products all rooted in what you can do with cannabis.
So I'd say 4 years ago, we had virtually no glass. There was no glass. There was no tobacco use only pipes.
Right.
Or unless you're a medical marijuana patient.
Of course.
But there was none. And the last 2 years have been a little bit more. And I think this year we're really going to blow it out with the glass. Hitman Glass, one of the biggest glass producers, actually is sponsoring our main stage. So he has they are going to be really prominent and have lots of really cool pieces for you guys to see. And then I know there's an artist, Mohawk. He'll be there. And I mean, I couldn't tell you all the vendors. It's a huge list.
Well, that's good, though. The more and more vendors every year, it helps you guys put the rally on. That just means more income there. Right?
Fun tapestries. Those are always a good thing. There's be jewelry. There's art. There's activism, other groups, community members that doing their own thing.
If someone wants to get involved, to, for 2016, and they want to help out, that's a great place to go, is the Freedom Rally.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not just all these great stuff you can buy and the great music, but it's also a place where you can get educated on what's happening with the road to legalization, right? So MASSCANN obviously will be there. Are there any other organizations that are going to be there?
Oh, yeah. Well, this year, first time ever, we have the NIC educational tent. So the Northeastern Institute of Cannabis educational tent is going to be to the right of main stage, behind the carousel, more or less. And that's where you'll be able to actually interact with the speakers, like prominent activists, doctors, lawyers. Hopefully we'll have some medibles makers, have people traveling in for different panels. So you'll really be able to go there and ask questions and to talk and learn about different organizations. I believe Parents for Pot will be there. I believe LEAP has a presence. Students Responsible Drug Policy will have a presence. MPAA, Massachusetts Patients Advocacy Alliance. National Normal, of course, will be there. Oh, gosh.
Well,
so many.
It's just to prove the point that it's not just a bunch of people getting together and smoking weed and having a good time with music and stuff, but there is there's a point to the rally, and that's to educate people. So, I encourage people who think it's that to actually go to the Common and explore it yourself. You don't have to smoke anything.
Yep.
You don't have to eat anything. But if you want to go and find out why this has been happening for 25 years, this is the place. This is where you can get educated for this.
And speaking of going to the Common that day and cannabis use on the Common,
that was going to be a question. That's always a big question
Yes.
every year. And now, as I said, with changing attitudes and laws and things. So what's the deal about going down there and smoking?
So this year, Massachusetts implemented, or Boston implemented, the no smoking ban in public parks. So you can't smoke anything. You can't smoke cigarette. You can't smoke cannabis. You can't even vaporize, which is actually really bad because an inhaler for someone who has asthma is vaporization. So technically, they would get a $250 fine if the cop chose to. It's a really, really crazy law. But of course, it's the Boston Freedom Rally, so there's no way that a million are going to show up on the Common and not smoke cannabis. I do want to say, if you are going to practice civil disobedience, that you bring what you need and possibly some to share. Those are your options. Do not sell weed on the Common. Do not buy weed on the Common. Please bring what's for you and your friends.
Right. Personal use.
That's
only.
all you need. And you can be subject to a fine, a confiscation, and being that you would be smoking cannabis and smoking, it would not be a $100 fine. It would actually be a $350 fine because they'll combine the two.
But I mean, how hard have they been? Have the authorities been in the past? I mean, do they? It's such a huge rally.
Yeah.
Do they walk around and they're just like arresting people or fining them left and right? Or?
No. It used to be they would have a fake booking tent and they would trick kids into going and getting their fingerprints and photos, and they used to, go around and actively try and bust people. The last several years, we've seen a lot less of that because because of the new law, if there are an excessive amount of fines that we find just on rally day, we're going to have to file for a FOIA with the government and try to get the records of how many tickets went out leading up to the rally. They have implemented the law, but if they are making an active judgment to enforce it, overzealously just because it's us,
right?
That's something we'll have to have a talk about.
Ooh, we're gonna have a talk about that.
We have to have a talk about that.
All right, so that's.
So we're crossing our fingers, but yes, don't sell, don't buy, bring what you need.
Don't bring a wheelbarrow. Full of weed down to the Common.
Don't bring lots of little baggies.
Right, exactly. Don't make it.
Be smart.
Harder.
You're representing the entire state's legalization movement at this event.
Exactly.
We don't want to give the entire movement in Massachusetts a bad reputation by getting a bunch of people locked up.
You want to be able to consume responsibly, just like they say, drink responsibly.
Exactly.
Right. All right. Well, we're very much looking forward to this. Of course, people can always go to the MASSCANN website, right, for more info.
MASSCANN.org.
MASSCANN.org. And Cara, thank you very much.
Of course.
I appreciate you coming and talking about it. We're looking forward to it this year, and hopefully both days will be unobstructed.
There's
beautiful
no weather. There's
and
no weather
issues.
issues.
The lawyers will have a year off. Knock on wood. All right, thank you.
Thank you.